Video showing 20-year-old James Phillips being released into his parents' custody a little over an hour ago after spending 5 days in custody.
He was arrested at his Mason home late last week, accused of making and detonating bombs.
Today he returned to federal court, and Brenda Ordonez was there.
Here at the Butler County Jail, Phillips did reunite with his family members. He walked out of these doors to greet his two parents and who appears to be his girlfriend in a heartfelt reunification. Now his parents are going to be acting as third-party custodians throughout the duration of his hearings. It's all part of a list of court orders imposed today in order for him to be released.
Well, he's scared to death.
James Phillips will return to his Mason home after spending 5 nights in jail. The 20-year-old is federally charged with possession of an unregistered firearm explosive device. Last week, FBI police and bomb squads raided his family home and his condo in Oxford. Phillips had been under investigation for months after an IED was found in a Lebanon soccer complex last September. Prosecutor Emily Glatfelter said the device was so volatile it exploded when a laser pointed at it. After searching his iCloud, prosecutors say they found Phillips detonated numerous explosives in the last 13 to 14 months, all constructed in a shed behind his Mason home. Prosecutors say they still have an incomplete picture of Phillips' entire movements, but say video and photos recovered show in February of 2024, he blew up a tractor in Kentucky. In April of 2024, he detonated an explosive device in the same Lebanon sports complex. A few months later, he was part of an underwater explosion in his neighborhood, followed by another explosion in Kentucky where a car was destroyed. Prosecutors say his latest explosion happened last month, where he exploded a television. Prosecutors say officials recovered over 60 samples of components Phillips created by mixing chemicals. Prosecutors say these creations were volatile and were transported by Phillips in his car. Prosecutors asked he remain in custody. Phillips' high-profile attorney Scott Croswell objected.
Essentially what the government said happened, but the atmosphere of how it happened is different. This is a hobby.
Croswell notes the Xavier High School graduate has no criminal history and is the son of 2 chemists, saying Phillips has had a fascination with explosives since he was young. He notes Phillips had permission from the property owners to explode their belongings on their property, and his intention has never been to harm anyone, noting his intention was not to leave the explosive device at the soccer complex in September.
You know, the idea was to explode it in the parking lot like they had exploded them in a lot of other places and go home, but he was interrupted by the police is what happened.
Family, friends, his priest, and former chief prosecuting attorney all were in court to support Phillips. Judge Karen Litkovitz did release Phillips, noting prosecutors did not make an adequate case for him being a flight risk or pose a danger to the community that could not be mitigated by court orders. Yeah, as part of that list of court orders, Phillips is not going to be able to access or purchase any chemicals or precursor materials. He's going to have to surrender his passport. He's also not going to be able to access his shed that's behind that Mason property. He's also going to be restricted from having any firearm and will have a travel restriction order limiting him to the Southern District of Ohio. But of course, we're going to have all this information on our website. We're also going to continue to follow this story as it develops. For now in Butler, with photojournalist Damaris Evans, Brenda Ordonez, Fox 19 Now.